Chapter 11. The world of daytime is loud and much more chaotic than the night. Appleblossom has never been this tired, but she tries her hardest to stay awake. It helps that there are so many intriguing things to see. It is still early in the morning when an enormous yellow metal monster appears. It isn't a car or a truck, but it must be a family member of those beasts. The monster stops in front of the house and its red eyes flash in the front and the back. The same little people who earlier was with the dog named Columbo comes out of the house and goes to the yellow metal monster. Appleblossom studies the creature as she walks. The people has brown fur on top of her head that is now tied back with a red bow. She has large eyes that are the color of the little pebbles lining the stream through the canyon up in the hills. They are brown, but bright swirls of something close to green are there too. There are other people inside the metal monster. Some of them wave their arms as the little monster from the house approaches. The little people laughs. She is acting happy. Appleblossom listens. The monster's giggle is delicate, and it certainly doesn't sound like it belongs to an animal that is mean and ferocious. No, the little monster sounds sweet. The metal monster opens his mouth and the people climbs inside. Then the yellow monster closes his mouth and moves away down the cement stage, and Appleblossom finds herself sad to see the people go. As the day progresses, the dog comes out 2 more times. He has a routine, which involves lifting his leg, running in circles, and communicating with the red ball. The only other activity he undertakes is sniffing the ground, vigorously, and yet he never once cranes his head and looks up. If he did, then he would see the small possum clinging to one of the top branches of the tree. He is, Appleblossom decides, not a very complex life form. The sun is higher in the sky when the yellow metal monster returns. The little people gets out, and Appleblossom watches as she makes her way back to the house. She stops before the entrance and leans over some purple flowers. Appleblossom feels certain that the little monster has caught sight of a juicy caterpillar or maybe a plump spider. But this isn't the case. The people pushes her face close to the petals and simply inhales. She smells the sweetness. Appleblossom wants to shout from the treetop, "I love flowers too!" But she doesn't dare, and then the little monster plucks one of the blossoms and disappears into the house. Appleblossom waits for the rest of the daylight to see the little people again, but this doesn't happen. It takes a long time for the sun to work its way across the sky and slip below the distant hills, but finally night falls. Appleblossom makes certain that the dog has just been out to chase his red ball, and once he is back inside, she starts down the tree trunk. Appleblossom appreciates the fact that she has thumbs. She can pick up snails and pillbugs and sweet fallen apples. Watching the dog use his mouth for everything has been an eye-opener. All he can do with his clumsy feet is scratch at the ground and send dirt flying in all directions. It's possible, she decides, that not having proper hands and feet is what makes him run in circles. Appleblossom has survived a big test. She has stayed out all day and now returns to the mulberry bush with her head held high. Antonio sees her first. Her ears shoot skyward as he springs up on his back feet to get a better look. "Appleblossom!" he shouts. He and Amlet are waiting in the exact spot where they had all been the night before. "What happened? You didn't come back." "It was horrible and scary and also incredible and amazing." "Is that possible?" Antonio grins, and almost all of his 50 teeth can be seen. "If you say so, then it is." "Was Mama mad at me for not being here for bedtime?" Antonio isn't sure how to answer, but Amlet blurts out, "Mama wasn't here either. We thought you might be together." Appleblossom is surprised that Mama didn't come back, but she sits down to tell her brothers everything that she has seen and experienced. She talks about the people and the dog and the red ball. She speaks until she can't form another sentence. With her brothers at her side, she finally has to drag herself to the mildewy umbrella against the wooden fence. The folds of the rotten canvas are like a hammock, and it is there, with her tail curled into a pillow, that she falls asleep. She is nocturnal, but she sleeps through the long night and all through the next day. She is cozy and safe and, most of all, alive. Stay tuned for Appleblossom the Possum, Chapter 12.